What's up, everybody? It's me, your girl Anu here. How's it going? Happy 222 day. It is Tuesday, 222, a very valuable, special day. I'm here in my Patreon Zoom room with all my Patreon peeps. How you guys doing, Patreon peeps? Gee. And my very special guest for the day, for the night, for the podcast, episode 27, my boy Brady from the band Through the Roots. Can I get a whoop whoop?
Whoop whoop. I'm here in my pajamas. Hello.
You look fabulous. He was on our local radio station this morning talking. Sorry, what were you guys talking about this morning?
Best food places to eat in Hilo, and just a little backstory about our trip to Nashville. We just got back from Nashville and did our last album there. So
Through the Roots, new music. Can't wait to hear it. Hell yeah. Well, I do this with all our guests. If you would just be so kind as to take a couple of minutes and just talk about yourself. Tell us where you're from, what you do, maybe how we know each other. Go for it.
I'm Brady. I'm from Hilo, Hawaii. I'm actually based at the Men Through the Roots, and we are a San Diego-based reggae band, internationally touring reggae band. And I'm actually from Hilo, Hawaii. So right now I'm in Hilo on the other side of the island from Anu, same time zone.
We almost did this in person, but we're like, no, that's too weird.
In person. Yeah, we were like, whoa, it might not work. Yeah. Nah. But I play keyboards for the band Through the Roots. I've been playing and touring almost 14, 15 years now.
Yeah.
And I know Anu. We did a tour. We were for a while, we were with the same booking agency, and then we did the Love Child tour back in 2016. So we had connected. We were on that tour, and I think even before we went on that tour, we kind of met up in Kona. We came out here to play at UH Hilo, I think, and then we came over to meet you at your house and ate some poke and sat on the floor and hung out.
You remember that? We took some promo pictures in my backyard.
Some promo pics.
We decided to do a tour together and use those photos as the promos. That was my baby. Was my baby born yet?
Yeah, he was still. He was.
Oh, duh, he was, because the song "Love Child" that I wrote is about him. Yeah, so he was his little baby. So Mama
was just walking.
Barely, yeah. So Mama was struggling at the time to make tours happen, but you guys were. It was such a fun tour. Thrive was also a part of that tour.
Yeah, that was. Honestly, that was a really fun tour. It was really easy, really stress-free, and I think what I liked about it is, like, sometimes you go on tour with bands and other bands won't mingle much, or they kind of stay to themselves. But I feel like it was nice because we would all just hang out all the time.
I became family.
Yeah, we were. I became really close with the Thrive guys, with Aaron and Kenny, and it was really nice to spend time with them because I knew them for a number of years, but I never when you hang out with people and get to really know them, you're like, oh, these people, they become family almost over a month.
They really do. It's like, and that's why when tour is over, and we talked about this in one of our other podcasts before, just there's this feeling of like emptiness, like what the fuck? Like you just feel, what is it called? Tour blues, post-tour blues.
Post-tour depression.
Yeah.
It's like a first day of school thing where you're like trying to feel it out. And then by the end, you're like, sign my yearbook. I fucking miss you.
Totally. And that's how I feel with like Instagram and like reposting pictures. I still like reminisce and live out these tour memories. And I actually just did something like that on my Instagram recently, where I like walked back in time, did a little recap on all my different stuff. And I definitely shouted out the Love Child tour because that one was a memorable one. So where did you grow? What high school did you go to? Like, you grew up in Hilo and went to school there and everything?
Yeah, I grew up in Hilo, and then when I was I think like 5th or 6th grade, my grandma had Alzheimer's and my grandpa had emphysema. So we moved into like a caretaking role for them. So I moved across town. I grew up in Hilo, and then I went to school in Hilo Union. And then I think in 5th grade, my grandparents, their health started deteriorating. So we moved into my mom and dad moved into like a caretaking role for them. So we moved across town. And then I attended the Waikea schools for a few years, and then I went to St. Joe for 1 year, and then I just finished at Hilo High with all my friends that I had grew up with. So
You were a new kid at Hilo High. There's like so many horror stories of
I was a new
that.
kid at Hilo High, but I had already grew up going to school with those
Yeah.
kids. So
So
it was just
luckily
like
you were
fast
in
forwarded
there.
time. Yeah, I was like, oh, they
Yeah,
were my friends. So it was like rekindling the
I know.
friendship with a lot of people that I grew up with.
So no kill holiday for
No,
you.
no, no,
You're
no,
like, no,
no.
look at me. I'm not a
I heard they got rid of that in the 70s or the 60s, but I did hear about people talking about that stuff.
Your dad is a basketball coach, right?
Yeah, my dad's kind of a big deal.
Yes, he is. Do you want to talk about him? Is it a secret? No.
No, I mean everyone know. It was funny today because I was with on the air with Loeka, and he was just like, "Oh, I know your dad. I remember your dad." And then another DJ came in, DC. He came in
Yeah.
from the other room and was like, "Hey, how's your dad doing?" So it was just like they knew already.
Is a accomplished coach from what school?
Accomplished I'd say more so an accomplished um, basketball player for the UH Hilo, the Vulcans.
Okay.
Yeah, Hall of
Local
Famer.
local celebrity for sure.
He is. Yeah, it's funny because everywhere I go, people are like they know him, so he's always like we go to KTA and people talk to him for like 20 minutes, and I'm like,
That's my dad too. I think we connected on that level in tour
yeah,
because
yeah,
my
yeah,
dad's a basketball coach. My two brothers are Michael and Jordan. And
yeah.
it's like I'm not Anuhea the singer. When I go home to Maui, I'm Mr. Jenkins' daughter
Oh,
or
the
Coach
Kind's daughter.
Jenkins' daughter. Yeah. Which is
Yeah,
refreshing and nice because I love my dad. I'm so proud of him.
yeah.
That's cute. Are you an only child? Do you have siblings?
Only child. My parents were like, "Fuck this!" After I was born, I think they were trying for a girl, and my name was going to be Megan, but I came out and I was Brady, and then I just like, they're like, "All right, this is too much.
That's
We'll just do
enough
one."
already. Did
Yeah.
you did you always play keys? Like were you trained at piano when you were a little kid or anything?
No, I learned how to play keys when YouTube came out.
Oh,
Yeah, all my friends here play music. They're all really good at music. Star from Steppas and
yeah.
Will, like the One Rhythm guys, and like I know some of the guys in Kai Kenna's band too. Like I grew up with some of those guys, so
Talented buggers out in
yeah,
Hilo.
everyone played music except me. And my friends were always like, "Hey," at the jam sessions, all my friends were always like, "Hey, you should play that dusty keyboard in the corner there because we're
And just
playing our
three
ukuleles."
fingers. Yeah, I'll just go like this.
Yeah,
3 fingers, then move it to over
yeah.
here. And that's
That's
how
what
it
it started
started.
as. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what it started as. All the white keys.
Now you pretty much kind of self-taught. You feel pretty confident up there. I mean, you guys' band is killing it. So clearly you guys are making amazing music and they wouldn't just let you tag along if you weren't killing it. So
I'm less shittier now.
and he brings a certain personality to the band, to the stage. Like if you guys know Through the Roots, they're such little cutie patooties, like little heartthrob boys, but they're like part of that California, reggae sound. They've been doing their thing, but they also bring an element of like electronic recently that I've really admired. You guys are definitely taking some more sound risks rather than
Yeah, yeah. I think you'll
staying
hear that on
in.
the new album too. I think a lot of it was, there's a lot of different music we listened to get us to the last like couple years. So I think that's really reflected in our new music.
I literally can't wait. So when are we thinking the next maybe single might drop in the next couple months?
Um, Probably next month, first single, and then just rolling singles out till probably like June, and then
Yeah. Are we on any of the same festivals? Are you guys playing Cali Roots, right?
yeah, we'll be at Kelly. Are you gonna be there?
I'm like the only one not on it.
Were you on last year or the year before?
I was on like 2 years ago. I don't know what the deal is. It's kind of like frustrating to be honest. I'm always like, he hates me. He must hate me for some reason, but he likes my photos and stuff. So I don't know why I'm just not on Cali Roots, but it's okay. We killed it at Cali Vibes. I'm on a big reggae festival in Florida.
Oh, are you doing Reggae Rise Up?
Reggae Rise Up for the
That's
first
a
time.
great one. That's a great one.
Everyone's saying that it's great. Like
Yeah.
I'm spending a fuck ton of money to get my entire band to the East Coast
Yeah.
for like a super short opening slot. My name's this big. They're paying me like peanuts, like it's definitely not even going to cover my costs, but I'm hoping to make a good impression. So hopefully I can come
It's
back
going to be
again.
good for you. You'll enjoy yourself.
And I get to do what is those Sugar Shack sessions.
Oh yeah, you're gonna do
there.
the pop-up?
Yeah. So you guys did one of those too?
We didn't do the pop-up on the last one, but we've done the Sugar
Sugar
Shack
Shacks
thing
before.
numerous times. Yeah, those guys
Oh,
are a good friend,
cool.
so
I never
it's
did
really
it.
fun. It's really fun. Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Cool. Thank you. Well, yeah, I should have mentioned this before. Maybe I will copy and paste this little segment to the beginning of this when I edit it. But this week's theme that I want to talk story with Brady about is just this statement, strength in mind. Like, what does that mean exactly to us? And how does that apply in our lives? I feel like I posted a little something on my Instagram today about it. Just what does being strong minded, mean to me? 6 things mentally strong people do. They move on. They embrace change. They stay happy. They are kind, fair, and unafraid to speak up. And they're willing to take calculated risks. And they celebrate other people's success. And they don't resent that success. So I really liked this little list, just talking about, especially the part where they're embracing change. Because a lot of people sometimes, when shit happens to their lives, which inevitably happens to everybody, people freak out. And I feel like
Yeah.
I'm really working on embracing the change and like just believing that it's meant to be some way, somehow. What are your thoughts on maybe what overall would be a strength in mind kind of quality?
Well, like you say, I think it's about like resiliency to stress, because at the end of the day, like life's not easy. And I think like the more you can roll with the punches and kind of flow with what's going on, I think you're better off in life, because you can handle little things, even the big, like the more little things you can handle, I think the bigger things you can handle later on. Like, I know for me, sometimes little things just are just like, fuck, it's the end of the world. But then you like look at it from perspective. You're like, looking back, like when you look back on things, you're like, oh, that was just a minor speed bump. And like you said, sometimes it's meant to be, and it's there to
Teach us
like teach
something.
us a lesson. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a win. There's no I forget the quote. It's like there's no losses, only wins or lessons.
Right. I truly like believe that. Like, even I'm going through some really hard personal times right now, and I'm like, have this weird sense of peace. And I attribute it to just having that belief of it's gonna be okay. Like every little thing
Yeah.
is gonna be all right. Like as cliche as that sounds. I want to give a little more background on you and the reason why I wanted to have this topic. Like, I would love you to tell us about your sobriety journey. Because when you shared that with me, you were giving me support when I was going through my sobriety journey, and then I had to kind of
Yeah.
break it to you a little bit, like, hey brother, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm drinking again. But you're still sober?
I just want to let you know that I'm alcohol. I have to say, because sometimes people get touchy with the things when you say sober. I'm
Yeah.
alcohol free.
Okay.
That's what I say, because
That's huge.
it is. Like, I still smoke weed and I still do psychedelics.
Okay.
I'll be transparent about that. But
Totally.
um, that those things weren't a problem for me. It was the drinking, and that was the biggest thing for me, the drinking.
Yeah. So how did you decide to take a break? Like, was it like a rock bottom moment?
Yeah,
Did
it was a
something
rock
trigger it?
bottom. It was a rock bottom. It was for a long time. I just, you get. I think it's part of the lifestyle out here too. With in Hawaii, everyone's always drinking and partying and
And in music
having
life,
fun. Yeah,
right?
and music life too. It's just the temptation is there. The alcohol is free every night. You're getting bottles of free wine and free liquor every night, and it's just like, hey, might as well drink it. It's here. So I think years of just that. Um, After a while, my physical and my mental health just took a fucking nosedive. We did like a summer tour in 2018, and it was like 7 weeks, and for a month we were in the snow. So I'm not getting no vitamin D. I'm not in the sun. I'm cooped up in the bus. It's cold, and that's at that point I'd been drinking all the time. I'd
Mhm.
been not taking care of myself, little sleep. You know how it is on the road.
Yeah.
And eventually I came back from one tour, and I was just the worst I've ever felt in my life. Like, I had acid reflux every day. I had like post nasal drip. I like bags under my eyes, and I had lost like 20 pounds, and I was just in a really, really, really bad place. And so that's when I started to really like I guess look inwards and really reassess my relationship with substance, and
Yeah.
really figure out like, all right, drink for me, like drink, it doesn't bother me when people drink around me, or it doesn't bother me that, being around the party. But for me, I had to think about my relationship with alcohol. And then I had to kind of be like, all right, why am I drinking so much? It's
Mm-hmm.
cool to drink to have fun, but then you're drinking and it's like at that point, it's like, what am I running from? What
Right.
insecurities am I trying to cover up? Like, why
Oh
do
my
I need to
God.
drink this much just to get by every night, And
Oh
then
my God.
it was at the point too where we'd tell our tour manager, like, 5 more minutes, 10 more minutes. We needed a couple more shots before we could feel ready to play.
Ready.
And yeah, and
Uh-huh.
it was just like, at that point, it's just like, wow, like I can't even go enjoy myself playing music because I need to get buzzed to go do something that um I love to do,
That you love to do. Was it ever an anxiety thing for you?
I mean, my baseline is fucking anxiety. I've dealt with anxiety, and I have obsessive compulsive disorder. I've been diagnosed with that like 20 years ago.
Oh,
So,
wow.
I think for me it was just I have a little bit of social anxiety sometimes too. So for me it's just like, just take like 5 or 10 Jameson shots here and there and sail through the night. And
Totally.
I think years of that just finally snowballed into just the rock bottom.
Mhm. But it was amazing that you figured it out for yourself. It wasn't like you got arrested and
No,
someone's nose in order for you to feel that feeling. So I mean, good for that,
I
right?
think physically, I just felt so bad where I was just like, I needed a lifestyle change. And I was just like,
So you decided to not do the alcohol thing. Do you guys, everybody out there, like how effing hard that is? Like for someone who used to, and then to still be a musician, I'm sure that the gigs weren't as prevalent because we're doing a pandemic. So I guess it was probably a smart idea to quit, during a pandemic when
yeah,
things
well,
are a little more few. You
I quit like,
did?
I quit in 2018. So I had done a bunch
You
of
quit
tours
in
already.
2018?
Yeah, I'm almost on 4 years.
Brady, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Wow, 18?
I'm the sparkling water god nowadays.
What kind of sparkling
Topo
water?
Chico all day.
Oh my God, that's on the rider and everything
Now
then,
it's
huh?
like, hey, if I don't get these Topo Chicos, I don't know if we're gonna play that
I
good.
ain't
Like
taking
I
the
need some.
stage. 5 more minutes of me drinking my tocachitos, whatever you said. That's cool. I mean, so okay, that was my other question. Like how's the band feel about this? Are they following suit? Are they doing it on their a little less maybe because of you? Do they even care?
It's yeah, no one really drinks on our bus now. Some of the guys will have like a shot or a beer before we play, but Cork is alcohol free too. I mean, we're too old to party, so that's what we always joke about.
I mean, come on, guys, you're one of the youngers, but yeah, but a lot of wisdom comes with living on the road. I feel like it just you kind of grow up fast being around the quick lifestyle, and yeah, it can definitely wear you out. I remember coming home from tours being so exhausted, just
Yeah, for
like
like weeks.
weeks and no voice. Like after every single tour, my voice is completely fucked.
Yeah,
Like and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I can't do this for the rest of my life. Like, I'm going to die. Like, I'm going to die an early death because this is not healthy. I know it's not. And the more often you tour, the more successful you are, but it comes with a price. And so
it
I
does.
knew I too knew and needed to make a change. But mine was a little different. I wasn't in the midst of my touring. I was like really reeling from the pandemic, and I decided to go away to a mental health and substance abuse facility actually on your side of the island. It was freaking super expensive. but I stayed there for 30 days and it just kind of weaned me off of what I was relying upon. It made me fall back in love with music again because my life was slowed down to a pace where I'm like really remembering who I am at the core of who I am. Um, I had to take a break from being a mom for a second. That was really hard. But overall, like that break just inspired me. I was sober for 5 months, like completely sober, like no cigarettes, not even weed, nothing. But then I shared with this podcast, if you go back a few episodes, like how I slowly started trickling back in, but I was, drinking because of my anxiety primarily, like
Yeah.
so scared to get on stage without it. Like I hadn't been able to do it without alcohol for years. I was so
Yeah.
reliant upon it. So that was a journey in and of itself to perform sober. So you've
Yeah.
been doing it for a long time. I'm so proud of you, dude. Good
I
job.
love it. I honestly have way more fun because there's like a lot of nights where I'm like, when you're fucking boss, you're just like, oh, we're killing it, we're crushing it. And then you listen back and you're like, man, that was
Sloppy.
terrible. Yeah.
Yeah.
But now it's like, I think now it's more of like the emphasis is on the show and putting on a good show, and that's the focus. So it's just like it's more fun knowing that it's just that much better. It
Yeah.
sounds that much better now.
You guys are elevating the quality of the whole thing.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
people are paying money for it, so it's like I finally come to
Totally.
the realization, like if people are paying money to come watch it, hard-earned money that they work every week for to come to shows and drive miles away, like if
Mhm.
they're going to come to these shows and pay money, then I need to make sure that I'm giving my all and giving that respect to the show.
That's like such a noble statement. Especially someone who's not like the lead singer, like you still feel that obligation, even though
Yeah,
not everyone's staring at you every second of the show. Like
yeah.
you're still killing it for the band. And that's one thing that I wish I had, and I never will. Maybe I will, maybe later
Hey,
in
it's
life.
just it's
And the
just you know
camaraderie of a band,
yeah.
the same band over and over. Like that's pretty cute. You guys are
I
so
think
cute.
we all have a commitment to each other to to play that good show and do that for the crowd and the fans.
Have there been times that you have been tempted or like almost fucked up your
No, no.
good? So that's
Yeah.
strength of mind. How do you have that strength of mind?
I mean, my life is more important than nights of drinking. Like I want to live a long, healthy life. Like I got people to live for. I got my family, my girlfriend, I got my friends to live for, and I want to have a long career. Like I know a lot of people who just go down this path of, you know, doing that all the time, and then the health hits the wall or whatnot. And I don't want to. For me, I just come to the realization like I've done my partying.
Uh-huh. That's reassuring. I will share a fun story. I think it was in Arizona. I just remember just happy-go-lucky, you eating a pizza. There's all this like weird shit sitting on top of the pizza. It was like after the show, we had a long drive ahead or something. And I'm like, what is that weird stuff on top of your pizza? And it was freaking mushrooms.
Oh,
Like actual, like shriveled
y-
up, dried psychedelic mushrooms.
yeah. That's my party right there.
That's fun party. I feel like
Yeah.
you know how to work some mushrooms. Alcohol is, you don't miss it that much if you can figure that little combo out.
Yeah. I don't ever have like I get the urge to I like, if I'm like eating a nice meal, then I like, it's nice to drink a beer with some poke,
Right.
but
Or
I'll
like
drink like a
wine
Heineken
with
Zero.
Italian.
Yeah, I'll drink a
Yeah.
Heineken Zero with poke, or I'll just like I found this like non-alcoholic rosé
Mm.
that I had been drinking. But the thing about that though is it still gives you a hangover if you drink enough.
Ew. That's like the whole
Yeah.
point that we don't want to feel that. Oh God.
Yeah.
But at least, yeah, that's cool. There's always ways around it.
Yeah.
You mentioned your girlfriend. How long have you guys been together?
A little over 7 years.
Damn. So tell me a little bit about that as far as in the vein of, strength of mind. Like I'm sure that it's not easy for her. I mean, maybe it is easy for her, but I'm not sure. It seems to be a little difficult sometimes for people to date musicians. I've
Yeah.
been struggling with finding a partner who's cool with it.
I
So
mean,
how do
it's
you
just
guys keep
all
it
understanding.
real?
It's the
Yeah.
understand. Like that's the thing is like you cannot be a musician and date someone who's not down for what you're doing because music is your first love. It really is. Like, and I think having a partner, knowing that that's the first love is really important because like I've been I have friends in other bands whose girlfriends always calling them and haggling them and like all this stuff and like you can't it's never going to last if you have someone like that or it's not they don't completely trust you.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I can attest, like, but you know what? It does bring some really good songwriting when you keep filtering through relationship after relationship after relationship, like some
Yeah,
people.
I'm sure.
You guys write about, what would you say the biggest subject matter that you write about is?
I'd say a lot of relationship stuff. I mean there was a I'd say our Arrival album 2 albums ago there were some there was a period I think where there was a lot of breakups and then a lot of new budding relationships.
Mm.
So that came out in the music.
And you guys all help to write the songs together when possible?
Um, yeah, I did Evan and I, and for that Arrival album, Evan and I, and Khalil Osman.
From
Yeah,
Pepper.
he wrote a lot on that album.
Nice. Oh, I love Pepper. They're going to be at Reggae Rise Up with me on the Sunday day. I can't wait to see them. I know Pepper's doing their wine, which, when before I went sober, I was like totally into it. I was like, I want to come out with an Anouheh wine. And then when I was sober, I was like, I want to come out with a self-care book. And that's kind of where I'm at right now, like coming up with maybe a journal mixed with some, poetry or words just to kind of help inspire people to write down their feelings, because I found that just has helped me so much. I have a big giant stack of notebooks right there that are just, songs waiting to happen, but just basically just that diarrhea of the mouth of my feelings.
Just purging, yeah.
Purging. Yeah, that's a better word.
Yeah, it's important though. It's important. That too. Either way, however it's
whatever orifice, yeah, just get it out. And I wonder if that was something that, as far as your a men's mental health perspective, because I always love hearing the guys' perspective, because men don't talk about mental health as much as maybe women do. And I love to hear, like, what do you do to kind of help stay fresh and so clean and keep your strength of mind and keep your mind clear and goal oriented? Like, do you have any tricks? Do you do a lot of self-care?
Yeah, big on that. Big on self-care. I mean, I go to therapy too.
Therapy.
I think a lot of people like it's funny because the people who don't think they need therapy need it the most.
Right. People in this room are like, no, I am that person. I'm an advocate for therapy for sure. So like, how often do you meet with your therapist? Excuse me.
I would say it just goes for me. I go when I need it. So during when I need it, I'll go like a couple times a month, and then when I get better, when I'm on the upswing, I'll wean it back. And but my therapist is really good, so I'm able to. She a lot of therapists you can't contact them unless you need an appointment, but my therapist lets me. There's an app that she has that I can contact her. So if I'm having trouble with anything, because it's important, I think it's important. Like you know what you got to do, but it feels reassuring to have someone else kind of tell you that to reinforce that with you. So I do that, meditate a lot.
How do you meditate? Can you, me and Kimie were just talking about it on our last podcast. Like, we've been trying to meditate for years. Like, we know how important it is. The greatest people in the world do it. But it is so effing hard sometimes to really truly clear your head.
That's your expectation. That's because that's your expectation, is that you have to clear your head. You don't have to clear your head. You just need to have those like thoughts that pop up, not run your day, So I think a lot of important things with meditation is it all comes back to your breath. Like you're sitting there counting in your inhale, counting your exhale, and then your thought comes out like a random thought in your head, like, oh man, I wish I didn't do that back in the day, like in seventh grade. Some weird thought pops in your head, and then you're like back to your breath, you know?
Mm-hmm. You like tell like a thought comes in and you wash it away like a cloud, like a
Yeah.
vapor.
So you gotta, so the way they explain it is like you are your brain, and you're standing on the side of the road. And when the car passes by, do you chase that car?
No.
No, you let it pass. So the same thing with your thoughts, is you just let it go out. Next one,
Yeah,
cycling in and out, and like
that's
just,
a good analogy. I like that one.
I think too, grounding yourself while you're meditating and knowing, like feeling your feet, or you're like listening to the sounds that are going
Totally.
on.
That was what I had said. Yeah, guys, I'm like, you're sitting outside and you're not talking about your inner feelings, but you're just identifying, I hear a bird. I see a
Yeah,
cloud. Like you're like
yeah,
very in your body,
yeah.
not so much
Just,
in your mind.
or not
I,
even saying what it is, just knowing what it is, and just like
knowing what
that.
it is.
Yeah, you're not. And I think the expectation with people is that the more you try to clear your mind, it's like it's resistance, you know? The more you try to clear your mind, the more you won't be able to do it. That's
Yeah, you're
just how
like
it
thinking
works.
too hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't try so hard. That's like pretty much probably good advice, right?
Yeah.
How do you meditate? Don't even try. How do I not
I mean,
try?
it's the thing is meditating is like what people, it's funny because people go to the gym, and you go to the gym and you're not after your first day of lifting weights, you're not jacked. You're not like, you don't go to the gym and lose 20 pounds in one day. And that's the same thing with meditation. But people are like, oh, I can't do it. I'm like, well, you did it one day. Do it for a year and see how you feel. And then
Mm-hmm.
know that you need to do it now.
Yep. Or do it like Kimia was saying, 5 minutes. And then
Yes.
tomorrow, 6 minutes. And then try
Yeah.
7, just a little by little if can. I love that. I love that. So how did you find your therapist? I like to get like real answers. Like how can an average person find one?
For me, I went to therapy through because I have OCD. So there's a new service that came out specifically for those who have OCD.
Wow. So I'm sorry. I'm just curious. What does OCD look like in your life? Is that an offensive question? I'm sorry if that
No,
is.
not at all. I mean,
Okay.
it's a weird thing because it's just I'll just be walking around and have thoughts pop in my head. Like the other day, I stepped on Kiave, and I was just like, oh my gosh, what if I get AIDS? Or like if I'll hit a bump in the road, and I'll be like, oh my gosh, did I just hit a person?
And you can't
Yeah,
stop
it's
thinking
just
about it.
all these, like, it's just all these random ass thoughts that are so far off from reality. It's just like the things will just like pop in my head. Like I was standing like at hotels, sometimes I'll be looking out on the balcony and this voice in my head will be like, jump. But then it's just like knowing that those thoughts don't hold weight, but they feel real because in your head, it's like whenever you hear thoughts in your head, it sounds like you are the voice talking, but it's just like it's not. It's just thoughts that pop up.
And I would assume that maybe alcohol abuse would make that shit worse, right?
Alcohol abuse, what I noticed is alcohol abuse took away the pain and the
Mm.
anxiety and that, but when you have a hangover, everything comes back like fucking tenfold.
Oh, yeah. You can't go around it, huh?
No,
That's
you
what I always
can't.
think a hangover is like, you're paying a price. There's no
Yeah,
way of
yeah, yeah.
skipping any of this.
No, alcohol always gets you back.
Well, some people here in the chat um, are saying that they too, some of our boys have said had similar thoughts. I wonder if they've been, potentially diagnosed with like something like that. I mean, you don't have to share, guys, but that seems like maybe something you should look into. How did you get diagnosed with that, Brady?
I had a really traumatic experience when I was young. Somebody broke into my house, and it was like my mom's childhood house, and I had like all these paranoid thoughts that came out. So stemming from this person breaking into her house and literally stealing everything, I started getting all these weird thoughts about like checking the locks, checking the stove to see it was off, just like all these like weird rituals. Like my hands, I would just wash my hands. I'd be like, "Dude, my hands are still dirty." I'd wash them 5 times, and then I'd be like, if I wash them 6 times, um I'll be better. But it was just like, and my mom's a medical health professional, so she was like, she knew what it was. She monitored me, and then she was like, "Oh yeah, I know what this is. You should go get help." And then I went and got help.
Good. Good. And then the another to hear the symptom of the thoughts. Like I always think of OCD when I think I know what it is because I see it, I saw it on like True Life. I have OCD and the person like has to touch the light switch like 10 times in a row if
Yeah,
they never
yeah,
leave the
yeah,
room. But there's
yeah.
other obsessive
Yeah,
thought cycles.
there's all kinds of crazy ones. Like sometimes I'll get like I'll be like, I'll have like a weird pain in my head, and I'll be like, "Oh, I have a fucking brain tumor. I'm gonna die soon," you know?
Hmm.
But
Yeah,
it's
that's
just
not
like,
fun.
but it was just like because my posture, because I'm sitting weird on my phone, and that's why my neck hurts. It's like,
But you think the worst.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like my mind always jumps to like the worst case scenario, and then it's just like, no, it's just my fucking posture. And I've been like looking at my phone like um weirdly.
Yeah. Um, Speaking of phone, I want to talk to you about that. Like, do you have,
Let me try to get some lighting real quick. I got this
yeah, you're
remote control.
fading away.
I know.
You look like a ghost. But I just want to talk about all tangents as we possibly can on this strength of mind thing. And just having a male perspective is just so valuable right now. I'm just going to pick your brain and just have you tell me your thoughts on certain, aspects of this strength of mind. Like, I think about, I went on a podcast recently where I was asked about, like, how does it feel when you look on social media and like you're comparing yourself to others, or like impossible body types, or just the pressures of other people doing better than you or something, or you can't help but compare. Like, have you as a man ever felt that way, like a man in showbiz ever like had those kind of comparisons or jealousies or like insecurities just from looking at other people on social media? I know that's kind of a weird question.
Of course, everyone
Yeah.
has that, and I think that's why society struggles is because we're playing the compare game all the time. We're trying to prove ourselves to people who don't even like us or give a shit about us. Like we 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 post these things we think are cool. Like fuck, we don't. Most people don't even want to post the shit they post. They do it for other people.
Right.
Yeah,
That's so refreshing to hear a guy say it too. So like even just like I'm having so much fun, like look at my fun rock star life. Like, I mean, that's what I would think that guys would be like comparing, like, bruh, his tour is way better than mine. Or look at his car.
yeah.
He has a
I
sick car and
mean,
I don't, or something.
I think like I have insecurities. Everyone fucking has insecurities. If you say you don't have insecurities, you probably have the worst insecurities, and that's just how it is.
Admit
Because
it.
if you can talk about your shit, then you're comfortable with your shit and
Mhm.
you're fine. But like all the times, I think, yeah, I look at stuff. I think it's human nature, and I think social media has made that magnified it. Like you know what everyone's doing, and then like all of a sudden it's like, oh, this person's doing this. Why am I not doing this?
Right.
This is happening to this person. But it's like we all live on our own timeline in life. Like just because you're not there yet doesn't mean you won't get there, or their success has nothing to do with your success. Or I mean, at the end of the day, you have to live your life. Like you can't watch everyone else and try to,
Amen.
yeah, you can't. But everyone gets caught up in that. It's really funny. It's like I hear people all the time like, oh, look at so and so on the internet. It's like, all right, but really, how does that impact your life? Like,
Right.
what does that do for you if you see someone's doing something? It's like, what does it do for you? Like,
And honestly, we talked about this part too, just like how do we know if it's even real or not? Like the fact that people are totally obsessed with what people think of them. I swear to God, probably half the time there's an exaggerated version of what they're really doing or a filter on
yeah.
them to make them look better, or more ripped or skinnier or prettier. Like, so there was
Oh, trust me, I'm ripped. My muscles are real. That my muscles you see are real.
show us on the gram. Everybody's gonna go to Brady's Instagram right now. No, but no, for real. Like it's refreshing to hear that, guys. And there's sometimes in showbiz, like there's the people who control social media for you, for the band and stuff. But even that, just being a platform and having people that pay attention to us, I think in Hawaiian we call it, as you know, kuleana. Like it's a responsibility, but it's also an obligation. Like we have an obligation to make people happy and feel good and be real. I think, like,
Yeah.
especially in Hawaii, like it's such a small place that you can't get very far being totally fake. Like we gotta
No.
just be ourselves, and
No.
people are going to find out if you really are who you say you are eventually. Yeah, like there's no
Yeah.
faking. And I think that's a cool thing about being from Hawaii, is that we kind of do be held accountable in a way, because somebody's related to us out there. You can't get too big-headed. How
No,
is it
never.
being the only guy from Hawaii in your band? Was
Well,
that
Cork is, and
Oh,
Calvin is.
Cork? How do I forget?
Calvin is too.
Calvin's in your band now. Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't realize Calvin was in your band. Calvin played with me
Yeah.
a few times. Okay,
Yeah.
so no, you guys are like overwhelmingly taking over the Hawaiians.
Yeah.
And Evan's dating a girl is she from Hawaii? No.
No, but she's lived there for periods in her life.
And then who else? Teboto, is he still in your band?
No, he moved to Florida, and he's doing the family business now. He's doing really good.
Oh, I follow him on Instagram still, but I didn't know. So
Yeah, he's doing real good.
So that's why Calvin got it. Okay, I get
Mhm.
it. Oh my God. So awesome though. Okay, let's talk about a couple more things in this mental health thing, and then we'll wrap it up with some fun rapid fire questions for you, just so we can get to know you a little bit. I'm so thankful that you are taking this time for us, my brother. Thank you, Brady.
Yeah.
Anybody in the audience want to ask Brady a question? I would love, love, love it. Give it up for Jeff, everybody. Grumpy
Hey,
Pop.
Jeff.
Hi.
Golf clap.
I was coming from law enforcement. it's a world, and the Marine Corps before that. You're not supposed to talk about your feelings. You're just supposed to swallow it.
Yeah.
Go drink afterwards. And it took me, I was 40 when I first started going to counseling, and seeing that, okay, this is okay and it's normal. And I eventually became like a peer counselor for my department until I couldn't do that anymore. But getting the word out to other guys and other officers that, hey, just go talk to someone, it's okay. And the fear a lot of guys have, especially law enforcement, is that your feelings are going to get out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the other guys are going to hear about it, or, he cried in this briefing the other day, or, it's stupid when you think about it now. But until I retired, I was big on, telling all the new guys to just, go get help. That's what it's there for. So
100%.
there's a stigma, and that's why you end up really having shitty cops out there, because they won't go get help, and they bury everything, and then you see them snap at the wrong time. So
that's heavy. Yeah. Damn. So Jeff is clearly a former cop, and he's just been on this journey with us for months now, just
nice.
Really opening his heart and soul, like sharing so much with this group, and just trying to better himself in every which way. Recently retired, and like I'm so proud of you, Jeff, like for sticking through and being so vulnerable and open and always sharing with us your life. And for law enforcement, like that's beautiful that you're able to advocate for mental health when you were still in the force. I wonder if you should go back and continue that, so the cops would come after you. He's like, no.
I would never be a cop ever again. Never,
Maybe just
ever,
like a
ever.
supervisor or something where you can just be the mental health guy. I don't know. You'd be great.
I still talk to people and I still have friends there. And,
Good.
and I still know peer counselors that if I'm like seeing a friend that I know who's still working and I'm like, hey, go talk to so-and-so because it looks like they're struggling. And luckily, since the highway patrol's broken up into so many different offices, each office is like its own family. Everyone kind of knows. So some people are open to it. Some people aren't.
Can I ask a question to both of you guys? Like, what would you say might be like an indicator or a warning sign that we could see from the outside to some man who might be struggling with mental health? Was there anything that you were letting off when you guys each were individually at your most struggling point that people didn't catch, or what did people help you with because they did see something that you were doing? I just want to give a nugget of information for the people out there in case they need to they want to help somebody else.
I think I noticed when people are drinking a lot and partying a lot, that's a call for help. And then I noticed when people are posting stuff on social media that they would never normally post, that's kind of different. I can kind of tell. Those are kind of like two things, at least in my life, from what I observe and see from some people.
And so what would you do therefore? Like, how would you reach out to someone like that?
I mean, for the most part, it's a close friend. It happens to close friends, and it's happened to a lot of people. But I mean, it's just reaching. I think one thing is I think we're super all alone. We feel all alone in our struggles, but really everyone's kind of going through the same shit, whether they put it out there or not. So I think just if someone letting you know, like, hey, I got some problems too. I noticed you might be struggling right now, and I'm here to help you or talk to if you need, And I think just offering that type of help, it's like, the thing is, at the end of the day, everybody's have to change and save themselves, but it's, you can be the person that plants the seed for them to start making the changes. And I think that's important. Like, if you see your friends kind of going off the rails, to be like, hey,
you good, bro?
Yeah. I mean, because a lot of times, like, no one noticed what I was going through, is because that was me always drinking. That's what people knew Brady as, partying. So no one noticed that I was going off the rails all those years. I didn't even notice until I was rock bottom. So it's just like, now I'm more observant of people who are struggling.
I think that's super true, right? Like, once you've gone through it, now we can be those people that help others because we know better. And I think your entire band probably is now going to be on the lookout because they have a very special person, you, that went through that stretch. So they're going to be on the lookout for it. Jeff, did you want to chime in? Did you have anything that you wanted to say about that?
Well, Todd kind of hit it in the comments.
What did he say?
People withdrawing from society and acting in destructive ways. I didn't really, when I attempted suicide, I had the gun in my hand and the gun was in my head.
I didn't know that.
I had withdrawn from pretty much everyone. And it was during my first divorce, and I was in a friend's apartment down in San Diego. And two things kept me from doing it. One was my girls were just babies, and I couldn't do that to them, no matter how rough of a time I was going through, how heinous my ex-wife was. I couldn't leave my girls alone. And the second thing was the friend who was staying with, she was the widow of an officer I worked with. So I didn't really want her coming home and finding me.
Right.
all over her
Oh my
couch.
God.
But luckily, I was able, she got home and I was able to go, hey, I was close to doing it. Here's my gun. Put it away. When I'm ready for it, can you, ship it back to me or, come give it to me, but get it away from me. And I think a lot of guys, we had an officer who killed himself during the shift and no one knew. No one, we're in briefing an hour before and he's just joking with the rest of us. And then an hour later, we're pulling up on his car. So he didn't reach out for help because people won't. It's
the
sad.
stigma. It's the stigma. Jeff, I just want to say, Jeff, I'm really glad that you are still here.
Thank you.
And that you are, being, like you said, being vulnerable and like, because I mean, most people will just suffer in silence, and those are a lot of times the people who will off themselves is because like they didn't have the support system, so to say something. It's for them. It's just like I think I felt times where I didn't want to live anymore, but it's crazy because in society there's no there's like you have to, like you said, you withhold your feelings. We withhold feelings. You don't tell. It's because it's almost like when you are vulnerable, it's associated with like weakness. But those are all old. Those are all old world ways of thought, and we need to push that out. And if you need
for the
help,
new generation, like especially like through what we've all been through this pandemic, like I think that the world is changing. Like mental health is now coming to the forefront of so many conversations, and this podcast is just one small way that I think we're making it.
Todd, like you were saying too, with withdrawing, whenever I'm really not feeling good, I withdraw too. Like I leave a lot of text messages are on unread, and like you just don't have the energy to do anything else other than try to get through each day. So I understand when you said the withdrawing. I have a lot of friends too. Like I worry about them because people will just not text you back or call you back, and you're just like, oh, are you okay? So I tend to reach out to a lot of friends too.
Good man.
And I did that. I lived through that. So I was the person who withdrew, and a lot of people, what I would have wished is that somebody would have noticed, but I don't know if you did this too, but I found myself hanging around with the wrong people. I gravitated to the nightlife. I became the guy like, oh my God, you got to go party with Todd because, if he's going to do the bottle, he's going to get like, and that was me. I was literally burning through my wallet just for the sake of surrounding myself with these bad actors. And I had no idea, but it was compulsion, like you said. And it was my way of withdrawing from, well, I'm not going to deal with that. I'm just going to go and do these kind of things. And I hit rock bottom. I shared on this previously that I got into a car accident while being drunk, and it really woke me up. And I was like, man, what am I doing? It was almost like having like my car was the gun that Jeff referred to before. Like that, every time I drive home, I'm like, oh, I can make it. I got it. I'm going to get there. Like no one's going to stop me. And then one day I passed out, and that was, man, it was like, whoa. But if I had only said something to somebody, right? And I had a friend I put in the chat box too. He committed suicide, and it blew me. Like I was like, oh my God, like no one knew. So like you said, it's being honest with yourselves and seeing those signs of withdrawal or going too far, like the compulsion. Like you said, it drove me too far to be something that I wasn't. And I'm now almost 10 years. Well, I'll like occasionally drink. I told Anu this before, like I control it. Now it's like, I'll decide if I want to have a beverage. I'll decide or not. Or if I'm in a group of people drinking, I'll be the first one to go, you got a bottle of water? And I'm okay with that because I'm strong enough in my own saying, I'm good. I don't need that right now. I don't need to go down that path. Plus, I know if I'm going to drive, no way, not doing it. I'm not going to risk anybody else's life ever again to do that. But
Strength of mind. Yeah.
Hey, thanks for sharing that. Thanks for sharing that, Todd. That's
no, I appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Sad.
And Jeff as well. Thank you for sharing.
Jeff. Thank you too. It's sad that we have to hit. It's honestly really sad that you have to hit that kind of low to make the change. In a lot of situations, I think a lot of people aren't lucky. They hit the low and then they're gone.
or they repeat, right? They keep going.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that always shocks me is like, man, this one got a DUI and then he got another one. They got another one. I'm like, whoa, time out. Like somebody please, like time out. Where's the intervention? But they just keep going and they can't get out of that loop for whatever it is, or they get out of it and they get pulled right back into it. So what would you recommend though? Like with that, like how would you think, or even Jeff or anyone like that, how would you help someone get out of that cycle? Because it really is something that's a magnet that pulls you back in, and you're like, and then they don't think they can get out, and so they go right back to it because it's what all they know, or it's what they're comfortable with.
Right. I recommend rehab.
You have to give them help. Yeah.
Well,
I think I was talking to Sharon today on Facebook, and part of what was going on is they have to want to help themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the biggest
when
thing.
You can give them all the help, but if they don't want to take that first step, it's going to be hard.
Right.
I know people who have trouble with drinking who are like, have been telling me for years, like, I want to get clean. I want to do this. And I'm at the point where it's the first few times we're like, okay, yeah, let's do it. I'll help you. And then now it's at the point, it's like, well, just fucking do it then,
Because they're not ready.
Yeah, I'm like, just fucking do it. Like, if you want to do it, go do it. Like, there's nothing I can say or anyone can tell you for you to go do that. Like, you need to do it. But if you want to do it, then start tomorrow. Like, and I think better late than never. Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say my recommendation, like, I never thought I'd go to rehab. Like, I never thought I was that bad. And even in rehab, I wasn't the worst. Like, they're like, you should work here. Like, somebody actually said that, like, because I didn't seem that bad. But for me inside, I was tortured, like I needed a thing. Like, I needed something to happen. Thank God I never got a DUI, but like, I very well could have. Many times I was that rock bottom and being that reckless and careless about my health and safety and shit. Like, I was definitely needing a cry for help. So rehab, even though it cost $40,000, it changed my life. Like, till this day, I'm still on a trajectory of just this new me. And that's why I started, this podcast is why I'm so grateful to be able to talk to people like you, just to hear your stories, because of that time that I spent there. So I think that if your insurance covers it, like, a lot of people's insurance do cover.
Yeah. Use that shit. Get that telehealth. Use that shit.
Telehealth. Exactly. And then I always advocate for betterhelp.com. I'm not being paid, and I wish they were sponsoring this podcast, but I have no sponsors. But betterhelp.com is just a really easy way, in case you don't have insurance, to just subscribe to this app that links you with a therapist in your neck of the woods, that's certified to be a therapist in your state or whatever. And they're anonymous and super, super, super awesome, like qualified. They just do this as like their little side hustle, like an Uber driver who like on the side, but they have like their own practices or something. Like, these are some amazing therapists that you could get linked with. And it's $220 a month, but and you can get 4 sessions a month, but you get like support all week. I just advocate for that, just because I just found that you're getting a really good quality of therapists on that platform.
Yeah, your quality of life gets better too. Like, people always tell me, people are always all like, but it's expensive. I'm like, fuck, well, you just bought some new tires for your fucking car or even some new rims. Like, invest that in yourself.
Yeah, make your coffee at home.
Who gives a shit about your rims? Like, if you need help, go get help. Like, spend money on that.
Right. It's definitely worth it. And just talking about your feelings, man. I think that strength of mind was covered, a lot throughout this conversation tonight. We definitely talked about how, you have to be strong-minded, but you actually have to know yourself. I think that was an underlying theme that we figured out, like realizing who you are, what your weaknesses are, is something also to be said about strength of mind, like knowing that you're imperfect and you need help. That's a really important step.
The quicker you figure out you're not perfect, the quicker it is that you can be a better person.
Yeah.
Stop denying that shit.
I think that we nailed it today, you guys. Thank you guys so much for your feedback. I want to ask him some fun questions just to finish it up tonight. Brady, you ready? Don't think about it. Just rapid fire answer some of these fun questions. All right. What was your first job?
Ross.
Just for less.
I
love it.
I think I worked at the food bank too.
Oh, the good man. What is your favorite animal?
I like the sloths.
Oh,
I like cows. I saw this thing about these cows that were shampooed, and to look up shampooed cows on Google after this. Like,
okay, cool. We definitely will. What's your favorite food?
Probably poke. Fried poke.
What kind of fish, if you had to pick one?
Probably ahi for sure.
Ahi, right? Okay, what's your favorite word?
My favorite word. I don't know. I go through these phases where I say one word all the time.
Is it the OCD?
I say the F word quite a bit.
Yeah, you can say it right now if you want. What's your favorite word?
Fuck.
Okay. Who is your hero?
My hero. I'd say my parents.
That's sweet.
I would have to.
Yeah, that's a good answer, especially.
I owe a lot to them.
Yeah. What is your favorite body part?
My Filipino nose.
Hey, I like it.
Filipino nose over there too. Yes, Filipinos in the house. Oh,
Filipinos in the house. I've choked Filipino ani jammers. I love it. What is your favorite dessert?
Kulolo.
Oh my God, good
I get
one.
that shit shipped to me from Kauai overnight.
Right? The best, from the side of the road straight to your house, I hope. What is your favorite type of music?
Right now, I'd say Afrobeat.
Yeah, same, brother. I swear to God. Who's your favorite Disney character?
I don't even know. I don't even like Disney.
What? Go back in time.
I like Aladdin? Star Wars. Star Wars.
You look like Aladdin.
Okay, Apu. Apu is a sick one.
Okay, and then here's just one more. If you were to write a book, what would it be about?
How I look like John Stamos. Now, if I were to write a book, it would just be about, I don't know, that's such a hard one. Financial advice and letting people know that if they spend more money than they have in their account, they will overdraft.
If you spend too much, shit, I gotta read your book. Thank you so much, Brady.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you guys. This was healing for me. So
I know, right? You're always welcome back. Anytime you want to come back, anytime you want to share anything that you feel needs to be heard, we will happily have you back. You're the bomb.
I'll just sit in here with everyone and
have a cool background. If you guys need to follow Brady on Instagram, though, sorry, real quick, Brady.
Just Through the Roots. Just follow me on Through the Roots.
Through the Roots, right? Okay, and be on the lookout for some new Through the Roots music, and hopefully we can do some shows together before the year ends. I would love that. I miss you guys.
The year just started.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, fuck yeah, we have a lot of time. No, that's why we got choke time. Let's make it happen. I feel like things are starting to get booked right now, and I'm like watching you guys get busier and busier. I'm like, shit, we need to intercept one of these times at least.
So you tell your people, contact my people.
I will. Love you, Brady. Thank you guys so much. I love you guys. Mwah. Thank you.
Thank you guys. Love you guys.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks so much for listening. We'll see you next week.